Hey guys, it's the Moody Dev here, and today we're going to be looking at grenades. So this picks up directly after our pickup lesson and our overlap event. So let's put them together and get them to use. So I am going to make another child of b underscore pickup, and I'm going to call this bp underscore grenade. If I could spell it. And something about the grenade that we're going to do is we're actually going to have two different grenades. So one is going to be an actual pickup. So you pick up a grenade, you are going to add it to your inventory, and there'll actually be a second actor for a thrown grenade, but we'll get to there in a minute. Now, I am just going to change this color. I don't really mind. I'm going to make it this concrete color. Brilliant. Now, once we pick up the grenade, we're going to want to add a count to our inventory, or count how many we have. So I'm going to make a new variable. I'm going to set a new integer, grenades. So let's start off with, I don't know, maybe 3. It's gonna be great. And in bp underscore grenade, if we go to the event, and what did we call it? Event custom pickup. So when the player picks up the grenade, we are going to set the grenades to grenades +1. Brilliant. Now I am just going to go into the UI here, and where this text is here in this vertical box, let's add another one. I'm actually going to just copy, actually no, let's just look at new text. And let's just horizontally line, fill it, lovely, lovely, lovely. And I'm just going to bind it. Let's just call it, have a default 0. Bind, create new binding. Let's get the player, similar to what we've been doing before. And then let's get grenades and set the value. Brilliant. Let's go try pick up a grenade. Hit feet. And great. We have 4 grenades. Now that the pickup is created, I am going to create the actual grenade as it's been thrown. So I'm going to right click, create new blueprint. I'm going to call this bp underscore grenade thrown. Let's go into the grenade thrown, and we're going to do a few little bits to it. First off, we're going to add a static mesh, and the static mesh we are going to drag over, and we're going to set it as the scene root. And let's click into static mesh, and we used capsule, shape narrow capsule, I believe. I'm going to compile, save. I think we set was a concrete. This is the material, just so it looks the same as the. We obviously need to fix up the size, but just so it looks the same as the pickup. So back in BP grenade thrown, first thing that we are going to do is let's get the grenade to actually do something. So I'm going to drag out of here. I'm going to hit a delay, and from the delay I am just going to destroy actor just for the meantime. And let's get the first person character to actually start throwing the grenades. So in our first person character, I'm going to right click. I am going to have a keyboard event for G for grenade, sounds good to me. And unpressed, drag out, spawn actor from class, and remember that we need to pick grenade throw or grenade thrown, which it should be. I'm going to hit compile save, and it's going to ask for the spawn transform. Let's make that transform. And we have two different options in terms of location. So one of them would be to get the forward vector of our character, and then from there, you know, let's say 100 centimeters or whatever in front of us, spawn the grenade in whatever direction we're facing. Alternative option is if we go into the viewport and let's add a you can just add a scene component. Let's just add it. Let's just add it roughly about here. Something like that. Sounds good. Seems good. Yeah, brilliant. And I'm going to rename this grenade point, or you can call it grenade spawn or whatever you want to call it. Now, let's get the world location of that, drag it in there. Brilliant. We needed to size down the grenade. Let's go down to 0.2. That seems in and about right. Compile, save, and let's just give that a go. Oops. I think we need to just get rid of that 0 point, and the grenade will drop in front of us and then it will vanish. I suppose the next thing to do is get the grenade to actually be thrown. So there's a few different ways of doing this. Now, our first person projectile, now this has something called projectile movement. Now, projectile movement is great if you want to, let's say, shoot something, but we're going to get a little bit more complex with this as we're going along, and we're going to actually want to use something else that this has, which is the add impulse. So effectively what this allows us to do is to apply a force in a certain direction. So our character is going to want to do that to the grenade. So let's try it. Let's get the grenade that's being spawned. Let's drag out, add impulse, and we're going to be adding it to the static mesh. Now, the impulse. So this is basically going to be saying, you know, do we send it upwards, to the left, to the right, ahead of us, whatever way it is. So if you actually wanted, you could, this is a great way if you wanted to do, let's say, a firework. You could add an impulse just to the Z, and that would shoot something straight up in the air. But what we're going to do is we are going to get the first person camera. Let's get the forward vector. And then let's multiply that by, let's say 2000. Compile, save, and hit G, and it goes bouncing along down the way. Oh wow, that's he just got kicked away by the zombies. That's kind of funny. Okay, we can get more into that later on. So the next step that we're going to be looking at is let's get the grenades to actually explode. So I am going to go to grenade thrown, and instead of just destroy actor, after the 2 seconds, let's come in here and let's make a new custom event, and I'm going to call this explode. I should preface what we're about to do as a personal choice. There isn't really a right way or a wrong way of doing this. We're going to set up all of the explosion scripts inside of the actual grenade itself. If you wanted, what you could do is you could set up a new actor just for the explosion itself. So the grenade spawns the explosion and then destroys itself. And then the explosion handles, you know, the sound or doing damage to things. I'm going to do all of that in grenade just to keep it as simple as possible. You can do it as you wish. So here we have delay, and when it is completed, we are going to call that explode event. And what we are going to do with this, the end result is going to be to destroy the actor. But let's add a sphere collision. I'm going to go to viewport. I'm going to drag the sphere collision up here, so it's give or take in the middle. I'm going to increase this radius as well. Let's go maybe about 1,000. Does that look okay? If I click on that sexual grenade itself, and then it's going to be in this area, the explosion is going to happen. Next, let's go into the event graph and let's get that sphere, and let's get overlapping actors. So anything that is in that sphere when this custom event goes off, and let's select B underscore, let's use B underscore character. So if you are in the grenade yourself, the explosion radius yourself, you're going to take damage as well. You could select B underscore zombie if you just want this to damage the zombies. And we are going to use a for loop. So for every single actor that is a B character, we are going to apply damage, and then when all of the actors have been damaged, we're going to destroy the actor. Do you know what? Let's make this. Let's get a little bit funner here. I'm gonna drag this out. Before we do all that for loop and everything, let's play sound at location. We have an explosion. Explosion 1. The location is going to be get actor. Oh, I just tried to add a comment. That is C. Get actor location. Let's not only just play a sound, let's also do something called spawn an emitter. So, yeah. And let's make a select P explosion. We're not going to do a full lesson on emitters just for the moment, but this is just to make everything look a little bit nicer and just feel a little bit more polished. Now, once all of those are linked up, I think the explosions are actually kind of small, so I'm going to increase the scale. Okay, here's the for each loop. Let's do 100 damage to everything that's in the radius. Then we're going to do destroy the grenade. And are we calling that event? We are calling that event. Brilliant. Before I test this, that would help if I plugged the array element into the actual damage actor, so we actually know who is actually going to get damaged. Now, how did I end up over here? I don't know. One other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this grenade thrown. I'm going to delete that. Otherwise, it's going to kill me as soon as the level opens. Let's hit play anyway, just to test it. I'm going to just throw a whole bunch of grenades, as many as I can, because I don't want them to kick these grenades. Okay, so grenades are dealing damage. We have that issue though of the zombies kicking in the grenades, which we're going to have to fix next. Besides from that, rest of it looks pretty cool in my opinion. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at is a few little bits just to try fix this up a bit. Number one, what we're going to do is let's go to physics actor here and change it to custom. And then instead of block pawn, try go to ignore for the moment. I think something else that's going to be quite annoying for us is going to be this linear damping. Change it to 1 for the moment, and that should stop the grenade from doing that awkward thing where it's rolling along the floor too much. So we kind of want it to, bounce once or twice and then come to a rest. We don't want it just to keep on bouncing on itself and everything else. I've also set this can character step up on. I've set that to no. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, but we're going to see how we get on with it. So one other little bit that I want is the sphere. I'm not too happy with it. I want to increase the size. So I'm going to actually increase it to 1,500. I think that's going to be a little bit better. Let's come in. I know I'm saying a lot, but big brain power here. So a lot happier with the size of the sphere. So it can still get kind of trapped in their legs. I kind of like that. Oh, interesting. So something that's nice, we can, if we throw it down, it will kind of stay on the ground. I really, really like that. I suppose the last thing that we need to actually do now is go into our first person character, and when we hit G, we should do all the checks that we need to do in order to actually see if we can throw a grenade. So let's get our grenades. And let's check that our grenades, we got more of them than more than 0. If we do, let's take 1 grenade away and then throw a grenade. Going to compile. I'm going to save, and let's pick up a gun. Let's pick up a gun. Let's throw a few grenades. Brilliant. I can pick up another grenade. Oh, what was it? V to pick up a grenade. Yes. And throw our last grenade. Happy days. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this code, but I think maybe we should go a little bit more advanced with it, just to have a bit of fun with some of the things that we've looked at before. And I think we might use a timer for this one. So when we first hit G, what we're going to do is we're going to start a timer. And when that timer reaches, let's say, 2 seconds, if we haven't released G, we're going to spawn a grenade, which is instantly going to explode. Otherwise, what we are going to do is we are going to call a different event in the grenade throw to explode in whatever remaining time is left. So let's get cracking with this anyway. Number one, what we're going to do is we are going to split up the two key presses. Let's get rid of it here. So we'll do all the calculation on if we have grenades and things like that. And we will take this spawn actor, and I think what we might just do is we'll make a new custom event. And what this one is going to be is throw grenade. So pop this into here. Now, when we set the grenades to one grenade less, let's start a timer. And let's set timer by event. And this event, what we are going to do is create actually another custom event. And this custom event is going to be self-destruction, let's call it. Now I'm actually going to promote these to a variable. From here, let's get the self-destruction to spawn actor from class, and then let's select the grenade thrown. Help if I could type. Brilliant. Now, from here, both of the events, we're going to want them to actually do something. So it's great that we're spawning this here, we're adding the impulse, all that jazz. But let's go into the grenade thrown. And okay, we have the explode event here. But instead of this event begin play, let's make a custom event. What to call it? Let's call this countdown. Why not? And we are going to give countdown a new input, and that input is going to be a float. And this is going to be the time remaining. So what we can do is we can do countdown, delay, then and explode. Let's give this a go. So when we are actually going to throw the grenade, we're going to call the countdown and then it's going to explode. Otherwise, the grenade that we just have here, let's get a grenade point here. We're going to spawn it at the grenade point, and then we are going to call that explode. That explode event. Now with this time handler, I'm going to have this as grenade cook timer. Grenade cook timer. Brilliant. Now let's do a little bit more working out as to how all this is going to work. So the time, let's set that as 2. Brilliant. And when we throw the grenade, we're going to add impulse, all that jazz. And then what we should do is we should call that event from the grenade. And what did we call it? Did we call it countdown? Start the countdown. And what we can do is we can get the grenade cook timer, and we can get the time remaining. One last thing that we're going to do is once we get the time that's remaining, we are going to have to get rid of that timer, because we don't want this event, we don't want the self-destruction custom event to be called. Brilliant. So let's give this a go. I've been doing a lot of free coding for this one, so if it's not 100%, got some trouble. Oh, okay, that was me cooking the grenade. That works perfectly. We won't worry about the errors right now. Otherwise, we'll hit G, hold it for a second, and then throw it. Oh, that did not want to work. Why did that not want to work? Let's have a look. What did I forget to do? G, we need to actually be able to throw the grenade. Throw grenade. Apologies for that. Let's give that another go. So if I just hit G and tap it, it's going to throw. Cook it. Okay, what we might do is... that did not want to work. Let's see why not. So with all my freestyle coding, I realized that this is our issue here. We're randomly trying to throw a grenade, but this has nothing to do with checking if any grenades are valid or anything. So how we're going to know if we can actually throw the grenade, because we did all the checks here on if we can actually start cooking a grenade, if you want to call it that, but we don't have any check to see if we can actually throw the grenade. And what we'll be checking here to actually see if this grenade cook timer is valid. So if there is a cook timer, that means that we are looking to want to start throwing a grenade, and there'll always be a cook timer if there is this event started, which meant that there was being a grenade being thrown. That was my issue that we need to resolve. So I should be able to spam out a few grenades without that happening. So I think what I did was, if we throw one out and then we start cooking, that all looks like it's working. Now the final bit that I'm actually going to add for this is I want to come into the UI and I want to show that grenade throw. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add a vertical box, and pretty much where this progress bar is, I'm going to add in a new progress bar into the vertical bar. So let's grab this progress bar, drag it into there. Brilliant. I'm going to hit fill. The next one that I'm going to do is get another progress bar, drop it into there, and I'm going to set this to fill as well. Now, let's get this vertical box just aligned a little bit better. Let's do all this stuff. Size X, I'm going to make it 200. 40 is fine. Oops, maybe about there. Cool. And let's get the binding started for this. So I'm going to create a new binding. And I am going to get the player. Let's get that cook timer. Let's get the time remaining by handle. And then let's divide that by how long we have to cook the grenade. Brilliant. Something that we should also do is toggle if we can see this or not. So let's go into visibility, create a new bind. And what we should do is create a branch. And if it's true, set it to visible. If it's true, not true, set it to hidden. And what this is going to be, the player, cook timer, and then check if this is valid. So questions, please leave them in the comments. We're just seeing if that cook timer was valid, similar to how we did it in the previous one. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hit play. And I like that. So if we just tap it, it's going to just throw. Otherwise, we're going to see how long we have to throw it. Maybe one thing that we'll do while we're in that UI, just for myself, is I want to increase the size of this crosshair. It looks just very, very small. I'm probably going to double the size of it. And yeah, just a little quality of life thing. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong gun. That's the right gun. And I'm going to turn off the visibility for that. And then from there, I'm pretty happy actually just playing this, but why not give this to a friend? I keep on saying that I'm done, but I do really want this lesson to be as good as I can. So there's one last thing that we're going to try add, and that is going to be the grenade explosion to have a shockwave. So I guess let's give it a go. So similar to how we have this collision sphere, what we are going to do is we're going to add a new component, and this is going to be a thing called a radial force. And what a radial force is it is, if you can imagine, let's say an energy that's pushing everything from that central position in every direction. So something I'm going to do is I'm going to match up the radius to the same radius as our explosion damage. So I had 1,500. Something else that I'm going to do is I am going to come down to activation, and I'm going to set this to false. If this was set to true, then the shockwave would always be happening. We're going to want to trigger it only when the grenade is exploding. And the last thing that we're going to do is I am going to increase impulse strength to, let's set it to 10,000 and 100. You can change this whenever you want. Now I'm going to go into the event graph, and after our for loop and just before the destroy actor, I'm going to get that radial force, drag out, and yes, fire impulse. and then reconnect destroy actor. So let's go back and hit play. I'm going to come over. These boxes should move with an explosion. Okay, they moved a little bit. They moved a little bit. I'm going to go into back into here. I'm going to go to the force strength, and you guys can up these as much as you want or as little as you want to get them correct. No, we're not happy with that. I'm going to triple the force strength. Let's give that a go. Hit G. Right, the boxes are now moving, but of course we don't know how heavy the boxes are. To be honest, I'm probably going to leave it like that for the moment. We are going to be coming back and looking at character deaths in probably the next episode or the episode after. As part of that, we are going to get the zombies when they get killed. They're not just going to vanish, they're going to flop on the ground and ragdoll. And then I think it would be nice if we could then throw grenades and make the bodies go, you know, up into the air or get blasted away. But we'll have a look at that soon. Until the next video, guys, stay safe, stay sound, stay awesome, and just a big thanks for the people who've liked, commented, and subscribed already to the channel. Really do appreciate it, and it really does give me the motivation to keep pushing these out. Anyway, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.